In a quiet valley surrounded by lush forests and flowing rivers, there lived a young man named Leo. Leo was known for his kind heart and sharp mind, but he had one struggle. He could never stop thinking. His thoughts would race constantly, worrying about the future, analyzing the past, and imagining countless possibilities that never came to be. His mind was like a whirlwind, and it wore him down. One afternoon, Leo decided to seek help. He traveled to the wise old sage who lived in the mountains. The sage was known for his calm and peaceful nature, and people often came to him to find clarity in their lives. When Leo arrived, he sat down before the sage and said, "I can't stop overthinking. My mind never rests, and I feel lost in my own thoughts. How can I find peace?" The sage smiled gently and motioned for Leo to follow him up the mountain trail. "Let's take a walk," he said. They walked in silence for a while, the sound of birds and the rustling leaves filling the air. Eventually, the sage stopped at a small clearing with a calm pond in the center. He gestured to the water. "Look at the surface of the pond," he said. Leo glanced at the water, noticing how still and clear it was. "The water is calm," Leo observed. "Now," the sage continued, "imagine that your thoughts are like the wind. When the wind blows gently, the water ripples slightly, but the surface remains mostly calm. However, when the wind blows strong and fiercely, the water becomes disturbed, and the ripples spread throughout the pond." Leo nodded, beginning to understand the metaphor. "So, my overthinking is like the strong wind that disturbs the water." "Yes," the sage said. "Your mind, like the pond, can be calm, but when you allow your thoughts to spiral, it creates ripples, which makes it harder to see clearly and find peace." The sage then picked up a small stone and threw it into the pond. The water rippled in all directions. "Notice how the stone creates waves," he said. But after a moment, the ripples fade, and the water returns to stillness. Leo watched as the water calmed once again. "How do I make my thoughts return to stillness?" he asked. The sage smiled and placed a hand on Leo's shoulder. "You must learn to let go. When you feel overwhelmed by your thoughts, take a deep breath and ground yourself in the present moment. Focus on what you can control: your breath, the feeling of the earth beneath your feet, the sound of the wind in the trees. In these moments, you stop feeding the storm of thoughts and allow the water of your mind to settle." Leo closed his eyes and took a deep breath. For the first time in a long while, he felt a sense of peace. The sage continued, "You cannot control every thought, but you can control how you respond to them. When you catch yourself overthinking, gently guide your mind back to the present. It's like training a wild horse. You must be patient with yourself." Leo felt a weight lift off his chest. He realized that overthinking wasn't something he had to fight against, but something he could learn to navigate with mindfulness and patience. As the sun began to set, Leo thanked the sage and made his way back to the valley, his mind calm and his heart light. From that day on, whenever thoughts would begin to spiral, he would remember the pond, the ripples, and the gentle reminder to focus on the present moment. Slowly, the overthinking faded, replaced by clarity and peace. Moral of the story: overthinking can cloud your mind, but peace comes when you focus on the present. By grounding yourself in the moment and letting go of unnecessary thoughts, you can stop the storm of overthinking and find clarity. Let's learn some words from this story. Whirlwind meaning chaotic movement or thoughts. Leo's thoughts were like a whirlwind, spinning uncontrollably. Seek meaning to search for something. Leo decided to seek the advice of the sage. Clarity meaning clear understanding. The sage's words brought clarity to Leo's mind. Spiral meaning to worsen or go out of control. Leo's thoughts began to spiral into worry. Ground meaning to calm and stabilize. The sage taught Leo to ground himself in the present. Stillness meaning complete calm. The pond's stillness mirrored Leo's desired peace. Ripple meaning small waves spreading outward. A single stone created ripples across the pond. Overwhelmed meaning feeling overpowered. Leo felt overwhelmed by his racing thoughts. Navigate meaning to find a way through. The sage showed Leo how to navigate his mind. Patience meaning the ability to wait calmly. Quieting the mind requires patience and practice.